I threatened Jim that I'd hug him when I walked on stage. He said, no, we can't hug. Thanks for having me. It's good to be with you.
Thank you, sir, for taking the time to join us today. I really appreciate it.
Good to be here. You may put the pressure on me. We have Brian Bedford here from the FAA, and Chris Rushlow is here somewhere as well, so no pressure. Oh, there's Chris right there.
He's right there as well.
Looking handsome as ever.
So what I'd like to do, if it's okay with you, Secretary, is do a little fireside chat.
Sure.
Right, and ask you just a few questions, get your perspectives on what you see relative to the industry. So I have a couple things here that I'd like to talk about. Sure. First one being around air traffic control modernization. You know, the need to modernize the U.S. national aerospace system has been identified as a national priority. Your department received a $12.5 billion down payment towards air traffic control modernization in the One Big Beautiful Bill. This issue has significant bipartisan support. Where does air traffic modernization efforts stand today, and when do you expect to see major reforms to begin? And what should we look at in terms of what would success look like, 6 months, a year from now, or 2 years from now?
Yeah, so first off, it was great. Before I even got the job, President Trump called me and was talking about air travel and talking about our air traffic control system and how our system is antiquated, old, needs to be built brand new. Sometimes I'd say we have to rebuild it. He said, no, we're going to build a brand new air traffic control system. So hence the brand new air traffic control system. Well, by the way, we could have had a better name for that. That was a failure. So just DCA happened, which was horrible, horrific. And after that, we started to work on what would a plan look like to revamp our system. And we were near completion, and then we had Newark happen, where we had the outages at Newark, 2 30-second outages. The scopes had a reboot, so that was a minute-and-a-half outage on those two situations. And so we rolled our plan out. We've asked for $31.5 billion. To your point, we have $12.5 billion. Mm-hmm. By the way, if anyone goes to the Hill, please ask them to give us the rest of the money. All help is welcome. What we have is money to upgrade our telecom. Again, we have most of the network is copper wires. We have to get to fiber. We have to go from analog to digital. We have new radars that we're able to deploy. We have money for a brand new center. We're able to buy new radios and voice switches as well. And so I think as you look at what we're going to, first of all, the process has started, right? We had money at the FAA, so we're already doing the switch over from copper to fiber. I think the complication will be going from analog to digital, and our timeline has been by the end of 2028. Right, so we're not. The FAA, and no offense to those from the FAA who are here, they'll do projects over the course of 10 or 15 years, and by the time this technology is ready to be deployed, it's old, mm-hmm. right? There's already like 2 generations of new technology by the time we are ready to deploy the old technology, and so we are going to move as quickly as possible. We're going to move safely. We're not going to break the NAS in the process, but we are going to do it at a different speed, the speed of Trump. And so I think as you're looking at we're going to do a good job communicating what we're doing,
right?
The progress we're making. Maybe one other point on this: you guys have all heard about our integrator. We're going to select an integrator. We're at the final stages of that. I want the president to be involved in that selection. It was his idea to say, listen, I'm a builder, right? If I'm going to build, we have a project manager that's going to mm-hmm. build for us. So we've embraced that, and I think it's going to be helpful just because, and again, I'm going to say a lot of no offenses to the FAA, but the FAA does a great job on safety. But they're not builders. This is not what they do. And so to bring in outside help to make sure we build on time and we build right is going to be critical. And so once Brian and I are going to meet with the president and have him give us his feedback on who he thinks would be best to select. Yeah, so that's weeks away. So stay tuned.
Perfect. I mean, to your point, technology is moving at a pace that we just really haven't seen in decades, and the need to move this at pace as well so we don't fall behind. To your point, 10, 15 years from now, it'll be a new generation of technology that is out there. That's a good point. As you think about accelerating innovation along those lines, as Secretary of Transportation, Acting Administrator of NASA, You have been a very strong advocate pressing to advance American aerospace innovation by challenging our industry to innovate. Also, more importantly, to accelerate critical rulemaking for new entrants such as advanced air mobility, beyond visual line of sight operations for drones, hypersonic technologies. How can the industry best support your efforts to accelerate rulemaking and innovation?
So first off, as Americans, we love innovation, right? That's what we do here. That's how we improve the lives of the American people. That's how you improve your bottom line, is by innovation. And so, I mean, from my perspective, I kind of have the Goldilocks theory. With all this new technology, we can't move our regulations too far, because if something not great happens, we are going to be set back. We also can't go too slow, because our innovators will go somewhere else with their technology. We have to get it just right. And that's more of an art than a science. And so in this respect, I think it's important to give us feedback, right? We have a lot of really bright people here. What are we doing well? What could we improve upon? Is our speed right? Is our rules right? Because it's, again, we're regulators, but we're also partners. Right. And as partners, if we just said the only ideas can come from the FAA or the DOT, I think that would be foolish. I think it has to be an environment where you're willing to partner with us. And again, you might give us 10 ideas. We might take one. We might take two. But those are two ideas that would have never seen the light of day and never been implemented, but for you having the willingness to share them with us. And so we've always asked, be a partner. Give us your best ideas. And Brian and I do a really great job at this. We take your ideas, we steal them, we make them our own, and then we sound really smart. So it's great for you and it's great for us.
More than happy to do that, trust me. As part of that process, however, though, do you feel that there needs to be any type of reform around rulemaking to help accelerate that somewhat, or?
Well, listen, I think I have some control, right? We have to do our work more quickly, and not take a multi-year approach to rulemaking. We have to get good data, get good feedback, and make good rules. But there's a structure we're forced to work in the government, and we will work in that structure. But again, in that structure, I think we can move more quickly. And when I was in Congress, what you realize is your time is limited. You don't get to serve forever. You serve for a limited amount of time, and you want to use your time really well. You don't get that time back.
That's right.
I look at this as a very limited amount of time. We're almost 1 year into our 4 years, and so to take our time and stroll on the beach as we're trying to do some big things, I think we would waste our time. I want to maximize our time. I want to make the biggest impact and difference possible, and that means, again, move right but move fast.
No, excellent. And pivot a little bit towards safety. And you and I had a conversation together over the summer overseas, and you sort of had described to me, which I did not have an appreciation for originally, what your first 72 hours were like in the role. And I know a critical core tenet for you is safety. And so we really appreciate that, of course, obviously. And we have been seeing, though, obviously, an increasing number of incidents over the last several years, where aircraft and other vehicles have crossed the runways, where another aircraft is either actively taking off or actively on approach. Clearly, the results of any types of these runway incursions can be catastrophic. How can technology and other reforms help identify runway incursions and prevent them from happening in the future?
Well, so first off, I think you mentioned my first 72 hours. We had DCA, which was on Wednesday, and then on Friday, if you recall, we had the crash in Philadelphia, and then the next day, NOTAM went down, and then I think it was a week after that we had the crash in Alaska. Then we had Canada, the Motley Crue plane crashed in Arizona.
Scottsdale.
Yeah, it was like one thing after the next. Brian was lucky not to be here then, but Chris was. Chris and I spent a lot of time together. It was a hard first 30 days, and when you realize how important, you don't realize it, but it's brought back home when you have to talk to families who have lost a loved one. That is, my heart goes out to them, but when you have a say in making sure that doesn't happen again, you want to do all you can to make sure that families are together and they're not going through a grieving process like what I saw at DCA.
Correct.
And so again, I think it's us having the right staffing numbers, the right team in place, but also, I mean, we look at technology as driving safety. Technology is what's helping us keep airplanes separated. Technology is going to help us have warnings of when we are too close.
Correct.
And that's what I look to. So with what we're doing with the brand new air traffic control system, we don't have the money for a new common automation platform. We don't have the money for the new software. I think that's critical. I think, and again, you go to this point of new technology comes online, and how do we deploy it? It becomes challenging. And so if we build, if we have a new software, by the way, we're dealing with like Windows 95, Windows XP genre of technology. But what our intent is to have a technology that we can build off of, that we can grow off of as new evolution and new advancement comes. We can deploy off it. We don't have to build everything brand new again. And I think that's the benefit of today's technology is it can grow. My iPhone will allow me to install all kinds of brand new apps. New technology comes out, I deploy them, and I use them off a great phone. I want to build a phone, so as those new apps come out, that new technology comes out, we're able to deploy it into the NAS. And if you look at our time frame on this, again, this first version of the $12.5 billion is going to be 3 years. And this phase 2, depending on when we get the money, is going to take time. But if we don't start, this becomes complicated, right? They're not easy problems to solve. Mm-hmm. The number of man hours that have gone into trying to get this right have been a lot. But because it's hard doesn't mean we shouldn't do the undertaking. We should actually try to fix things that are broken. And I think there's been a mentality of, let's pass this off to someone else. It's too big, it's too hard, it's going to take too much time. Let's give it to someone else. And we've committed to saying we're not going to do that. What technology is available? What reform has to happen? What build has to happen? And let's do it. Let's work with industry. Let's get the best ideas and let's offer the American people the best solutions and the best safety in American airspace. So that's what we're trying to do.
Excellent. And sticking with the theme of safety just for a moment, and I'm going to go back to the DCA crash that happened at the start of your role as Secretary. You've been very vocal about the fact that there were warning signs that were missed in that process, including nearly 80 plus near misses at DCA alone. What changes have you implemented, at the FAA and US DOT to really enhance safety in the skies and on the runway?
So yeah, we didn't know that at the time, but there were 85 near misses in the 3 years prior to the crash, mm-hmm. And someone should have seen that and said, this is too dangerous. We need to take corrective action. We can't have fixed-wing aircraft and helicopters crossing paths in the Potomac. It should have been a no-brainer. We shouldn't have allowed that to happen. But we learned from that in that, well, if there's hot spots at DCA that we're not seeing, well, are there hot spots elsewhere in the NAS that we're not seeing as well? And so we've been using AI to look throughout the NAS and find airports where we do have issues that we have to resolve. Okay. And so that's what we've done, and we've been able to identify those and try to take action early. I don't know if you guys saw during the shutdown, we announced that we were going to reduce capacity by 10%, 4% on a week ago last Saturday.
Yeah,
it seems like it was a month ago, but a week ago last Saturday, and then 4 days later, we were going to increase it from 4 to 2, and then every 2 days increased it by 2%. Thank God the shutdown ended. But again, the safety team was looking at the trend lines of the data and saying, well, these trend lines are going in the wrong direction. And I know that passengers may not be happy. I know that airlines may not love this, but that's our job, is to make sure people are safe. And that's why the FAA team, ran through the process and made the recommendation, and we made the decision that we're going to make tough decisions to keep people safe, as opposed to not making a hard decision and putting people at risk. And so that's, you saw that deployed even a couple of weeks ago as we were dealing with the shutdown.
Right. It's interesting when you talk about the need of speed of technology and innovation and how it has to be there, and the fact that you and your team have introduced AI as part of the equation to do those calculations and look at the data on a much more global scale is indicative of moving at speed and innovation to be able to do that. It's something that our industry is having a little trouble, difficulty understanding how to do that.
Yeah, and I don't think the human eye is missing these things.
Yeah.
Right? We're not, if you're reviewing data, or multiple people are reviewing data, they're not seeing the trend lines. AI does a great job of helping us identify those trend lines and allowing us a warning to then take action. So I appreciate that. Yeah, it's been very helpful.
I'm going to pivot to a different topic.
Oh, the pivot.
All right, a little bit of a pivot here. America 250.
Yeah.
Next year, obviously, America will celebrate its 250th birthday. We understand President Trump has directed all departments to find creative ways to celebrate and honor our history and heritage. I'm interested, how do you see this milestone playing out, and what role do you think the Department of Transportation will play in marking this celebration?
Yeah, so the president's excited about America 250. I think America's excited about America 250. And so we have so many modes. There's a lot of things we could do at DOT. We've decided that we are going to celebrate America by a great American road trip. I don't know if anyone did a road trip with your own families or with your own kids when you're growing up. Maybe at the time they were one of the most painful experiences of your life. But looking back, they're some of my fondest memories of traveling with my parents, whether it's to the Grand Canyon or to Florida from Wisconsin. Right. And so I think to love America is to see America, and to do it with your family is a beautiful thing. And so we're going to encourage people to get in their vehicles, and whether it's you're driving half a day to a park that you want to camp at, or you're going to drive multiple days across country, I think it's important that we get together as families, we put our phones away, and we spend time together, and we see this beautiful country. I think that's a great way to celebrate it. So we have launched. We're going to do a number of different shows. I'm taking different. I have 9 kids, so sometimes I have 7 kids, sometimes I have 3 kids, and they're all doing these road trip experiences with us as we do it ourselves, and are going to make episodes, and episodes is I don't know what I should call it. We're going to put that out on social media. But just on that front though, America 250, I think it's so exciting what's happening in aviation. Not much has changed maybe in 50 years, and we have supersonic new technology that's coming out. You mentioned that. eVTOLs, I think, are going to change the way that people move in a profound way. Drone technology and how people are going to get products. This explosion of innovation, I think, is really cool, and it's going to happen at this moment. And it's our job to make sure we get it right. Right? How do we make sure that innovation can continue to advance and Americans get the benefit of that technology? Because we know if it's not us, we know someone else somewhere else is doing it in a place that we probably don't agree with a whole lot. I want that to be American technology, not just in America, but around the world. And if we think of someone else in another part of the world developing this technology and deploying it here, it's not just bad for American jobs, American innovators, it's bad for, I think, national security and national defense. And so that's why we've leaned into this, but again, we're trying to get it right. What is the right? And by the way, if you guys all have ideas on, you guys are moving way too fast. This is, calm down. Or if we're moving too slow. Or the rules aren't right, we really are asking for the kind of feedback that you all have and can provide us guidance and assistance.
That's awesome. Well, I think we're at our time. So,
time flies when we're having fun.
It does, absolutely. Secretary Duffy, I can't thank you enough for your time, your insights, your perspectives, your commitment, and your leadership, towards supporting the aviation industry. Again, thank you so much.
Well, I appreciate your partnership and friendship and your willingness to help us out. he gave me a cell number. It's probably a mistake on his part because, you know, he gets random texts from me. Jim does all the time. So, but thank you for having me, and thank you for all that you do to help aviation and make sure we're safer and better, and protecting the American people, protecting people as a whole. I think it's when you look at things that you do in life and what gives people meaning, that you're able to do your great work, and it truly is meaningful in the lives of people that may not even know because they didn't have a bad experience because of you. Their families together because of you, and that's noble work. And so congratulations and thank you, and thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you so much.